Welcome back to the new time slot for Cover Your Assets right here on The Patriot. We've been coming in at 8 o'clock in the morning for several months and regaling audiences with vast amounts of financial tactics for the 21st century. But I think it's important, guys, to introduce yourselves to this new later crew. Craig Nestor, Foreclosure Defense. Talk a little bit about what you are, what you do, and what you bring to the Cover Your Assets team.
There is so much at stake for the individual homeowner who may be struggling with his payments. He's either
mortgage payments?
Well, his mortgage payments or just payments. I mean, it's a struggle right now for a lot of families. And sooner or later, it comes down to the house. And for the average individual to try to process all the moving pieces in the foreclosure process, or how to buy yourself time if you want to try to modify your loan, or should you short sale, should you stay or should you go, that's what we want to offer, is real solutions for people, real plans that they can grab a hold of and insert in their family and come out the other side and make a difference. So we want to meet families, talk and see what their goals are, what their dreams are, and see if we can get them there through this new now, whether that's a loan modification or a short sale.
Or, and really, I mean, some of the other categories, somebody that hasn't missed a payment yet, but they feel like they might be slipping and they want to possibly start strategizing before they're in trouble, which you always say that's a great idea, right?
Well, we have clients that I have sent this week to Todd where it's still very early in the process. They've either just gone late or about to, but they're in a good spot, but they're upside down. And they've had some life changes. A lot of times it's health or a divorce or an injury to a young person. And we want to make sure we just can't afford to make $10,000 and $20,000 mistakes anymore. And a lot of times we're able to avoid that. At least Todd is strategically to help people avoid mistakes where we can't just overcome mistakes with income anymore.
And Todd Rooker, you are Unbiased Advice. Talk a little bit about your practice and who it is that you work with, and your piece of the way that the Cover Your Assets team flows together.
I work with people who may see financial crisis on the horizon or want to ensure that they never are in that position in the first place, which really relates to asset protection. But when you think about asset protection, when you're really in the midst of the crisis, meaning that I've only got a matter of 3, 4, 6 months, a year before I completely run out of money and I crash into the rocks, strategic planning to minimize the damage and get a person through that, maintain what they can, and then help them rebuild on the other side. So as I always say, a person will say to me, I've never missed a payment in my life, never thought I would, but at this point I'm exhausting every resource, simply delaying the inevitable. And my questions are, do I just let the bank take over? Do I need to consider things like short sale, deed in lieu, loan modification, strategic defense like Craig was talking about, which is his expertise? Do I need to consider maybe things as far-fetched as bankruptcy or credit counseling? And then how do I rebuild myself on the other side? My job is to give people enough information, not to tell them what to do, but to help them make competent decisions with information that is unbiased, where I don't have any particular aim or goal. I'm not a real estate agent. I'm not trying to get them to invest money. I'm not trying to get them to file bankruptcy or do a mortgage. I'm simply giving them the information to make those good decisions.
Well, Todd, don't you find when people have that information, they can make decisions? Isn't that part of it, that the information they get is only, well, it's incomplete. It's a sweeping generalization, or it doesn't apply to them, or it's someone else that they know did it, and it doesn't really pertain to them. But once they have a true map, that they can choose,
it changes everything. Individuals will often say to me, I've already been to see several people. I've read everything there is to read on the internet. What in the heck are you going to tell me that I haven't already heard? Right. That's what they always say.
That's what they always
say. And they come in, and after 1 hour, they say, my God, I've already been to see the CPA, the attorney, and the financial advisor, and you told me more in 1 hour than all these people combined. Where did you come from? And why the heck didn't I see you a year ago? Yeah. That's what everybody says. So you're right, though. They come in, and a posture is slumped over, depressed, bummed out, feeling guilty, feeling bad for decisions made in hindsight. And when they understand all the implications, what the worst case scenario is, and they have a contingency plan A, B, and C, now they get to pick the direction. Their posture changes. They're back in control. And although it may be the lesser of evils, they're back in control. And you can see them walk out the door, and everything looks different, and they're different people when they walk out the door. They have the information to make a competent decision. It changes everything.
Well, it's like you said, sometimes that's the most important piece, is knowing where you're going. You get empowered again. Even though you don't like some of the choices, you're in control again.
Right. And or they know they're protected, because remember, most of the people who come to see me haven't even missed a payment yet. And they may not even believe that they will ever but they want to ensure that they're never in this position. And the consolation that a person gets feeling that stability, it just changes everything and it makes them stronger. That's it.
Yeah, 651-204-1700, Todd Rooker, 651-204-1700 is our local number here for Cover Your Assets. Now, it's funny, this show is, and you really are kind of the hub of this big giant wheel. You are the unbiased advice because you don't have skin in all the recommendations, the games of the recommendations that you may give out. Now, we do have one of our fantastic partners here in the room with us. We've got Chris Tostenson today from Investment Solutions. Hey, Chris.
Hi, how are you?
Now, talk about what you do a little bit. Because you are definitely someone who refers back and forth business with this team in consideration of what people's whole big pictures and goals are.
Yes. I think the customers that I work with, the clients, the people I've worked with over the years can have really a beneficial.
You've been doing this a long time. You've been planning. You do the financial planning aspect of it, and I know that you are able to uncover certain situations that you can toss over to Todd. And Todd, you have cause to notice when it might be time to talk to Chris.
Well, for sure. And the thing that I always like to throw out is that yes, I meet with clients, but when I send them to a professional, it's going to be somebody that they would really be willing to pay to see, because they're not just opening up the phone book and picking someone who happens to have a shingle, meaning be in the business, and they just happen because I've got a license, here you go.
Right.
That can be a complete waste of time. To find somebody who really knows what they're doing, not somebody that your brother, sister's cousin knows, but they don't really know much about them, but you might want to see them and they throw you a business card. I don't believe in that. I believe that you research people, and if you have the client's belief that you offer good information, then you doggone well better take the time to research your references and your referrals. When I refer somebody to Chris Tostenson, I know that they're going to be taken care of because I know Chris knows what he's doing, and that's important. But more importantly, Chris likes to focus on their needs and focus on what they're trying to accomplish, less about some of the other things that many people talk about.
Well, knowing what he's doing is great, but getting results is the most significant piece for us. And so we talk about the fall and rise again of the American homeowner, and we have to sometimes navigate people down this road of unpleasantry, and it's loan modification or short sale or bankruptcy. But once we get them to a soft landing, then we stick them in Todd's seminar for 8 hours on credit repair. It's get you turn the other way, get you on a power budget so you can live within your means and save money powerfully. But then we turn it over to Chris, who helps them on that way back up. And
you're part of a team. You've got a team, and talk a little bit about the team and your office in the company where you are.
Okay, we have 3 different offices, and I operate out of the Farmington office, and we have one in New Prague and one in Waseca. And I work with a team of people. One is named Shannon Brousseau, Adam Leach, and Julie Betchwards. We're either all fully licensed financial advisors or CFPs, and we all work together and in each other's offices as need be. And really, where I like to go with who and what type of people I work with and what we do for them, we like to create, implement, and we manage tailored financial plans and investment strategies that are designed to actually help the individual.
You're not just trying to sell me something?
Come on, you got the house deal of the day. What's the house deal of the day?
Well, let's put it this way. A lot of people take financial advice from Susie Orman, and Susie Orman does give some good advice, but you have to realize that what she's doing is making sure that she gets ratings and people watch their show so they can sell advertising. Well, if they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, the advertising drops, then they're out of a job. So really, their goals are not aligned with maybe your goals.
How could they be? They're not on an individual basis.
That's right.
The thing that you said to me, Chris, that I thought was important is when you walk in the door to meet with a financial advisor, so often people don't even know what they have, why they have it, why they should keep it, why they should sell it. And just the education is so endearing and makes you feel like that's the person I want to work with if they're actually willing to take the time to educate me and help me pursue my goals. That's what I think is more important.
Yeah, and that's one of my core beliefs in this particular business. I mean, I can say Investment Solutions is a wealth management and financial planning firm, and we are, but our real true focus is to help clients know, understand, and actually make sense of not only what investments they own, but really the true question is, why do they own it? What's the purpose? What's the goal? And so often the first answer is, oh, I want to make 3% or 4% or 5%. No, that's not what it's really about. What's this money for? Is it for a college education, or is it for your retirement? Is it to buy that boat? Is it to buy your groceries when you're out of a job, meaning when you're retired, and that you have to have something to replace the paychecks? I mean, these are the conversations that we start having with people and try to, build plans, and put some guidance with them.
Much more meaningful approach.
Yes.
Well, isn't it hard? Everybody wants all those things, especially the boat and the college tuition. I have a freshman in Hamlin, and a couple scoops this way wouldn't hurt, right?
Right.
But it's a cash-strapped society now. How are you digging in with people and making that
How have
difference?
things changed in the business today for
Well,
you, Chris?
I could talk about that for probably about an hour, but I think one of the greatest changes that I have seen over the years are people that have been investing, whether it's small dollars or large dollars, for, say, Todd, past 10 or 15 years, they've been in what's known as an accumulation period. The 80s, the 90s, we all remember those years where people were making 20, 30% per year after year. And now they've gotten to a point where they may not have kids in the house anymore. Empty nesters is what, the term we can sometimes call them. And now have reached that pinnacle or that mountaintop in their life where they have accumulated as much as they can. Now we have to get down that mountain. How am I going to distribute it? One of the main questions I get from my clients are, am I going to outlive the money that I've accumulated? How do I best preserve this and manage it? And that's where our services come into play.
And there's a little bit more to the question about how the business has changed in the last 5 years, because let's just go back. Hello, 2008. Okay. But we'll talk about that and so much more here with Chris Tostenson of Investment Solutions. We're sitting here, of course, with Todd Rooker, and we've got Craig Nestor. And the Walgraves are off actually this week, but our fabulous short sale specialists and investment property specialists will be back with us next week. Join us, though, actually now while we're on the air, or all week at 651-204-1700. That's 651-204-1700.
It took her 3 days on a train looking for some